Hi, welcome to the Camp Dakota parent meeting. If you're watching this video, I guess it's an audio, you weren't able to make it to our meeting last week that was hosted in Portland. So hopefully this will provide as much information as we were able to give at the meeting. Towards the end of this presentation, I'll read back the questions that were asked so that you can get those answered as well. But please feel free to email me or Josh or Katie if you have any questions prior to camp. We want to make sure that your kids are prepared. This is me. I'm Misty Moxley. I'm the camp director. I started this program about 4 years ago, and we started with about 30 kids that first year and just had a great time. There was quite a need for this program, and we had a lot of kids right away and a lot of support, so that was great. We are up to, this year we served about 90 kids, so we did 2 sessions, and it was the first time we've been able to include that many kids in our program. So this camp session at Camp Tapawingo is going to be our second session this summer, and we are expecting 50 kids. So that's me and my family. Whoops, sorry, I know you can see that. So these are the 2 assistant directors. This is Katie with her girls and her husband. Katie's been with us since the very beginning, and this is Josh. Josh has been with us, this is his 3rd year, and they both play a huge role all year in putting together the program, and we also put together a 5K run, and they're instrumental in that as well. This is Sarah. Sarah puts together all of our activities for all of our sessions. She is a speech and language pathology student, and so she goes to Portland State, but just has a lot of really fun things that she provides for the kids, and she has 3 boys of her own. There's one of them. Okay. So things to do today. Once you're done watching this video, I would like you to email your shirt size of your camper, and then if you want to order a shirt, you can do that at camp since you're not at the meeting. We also, and that email needs to go to Chris, CHRIS, at happyroses, like the flower, .com. And she is keeping track of those. We're going to do tie-dyeing of our shirts this year, and so we want to have the kid's name in the shirt prior to camp if we can. The second thing is you need to sign a consent for the Facebook page for Camp Dakota. You can send a note, same thing, to Chris at happyroses.com. Actually, it's .net, I'm sorry. And Chris will keep track of that Facebook page consent as well. So the reason we do the Facebook consent is during camp, we have a private page, and you have to friend us in order to see the pictures, but during camp we will post pictures throughout the week so you can see your kids and see what's happening at camp. We find it pretty helpful that parents usually are having a little anxiety themselves about leaving their kids, and so this is a good way for you to see what's going on. So we need a consent to do that, to have them on there though. And then check to make sure your camper's file is complete. If your camper's file isn't complete, you'll be getting contacted this week, most likely by Katie. The major things we have left to do, are a lot of the med forms still aren't in, although they're trickling in, and then some payments that are still outstanding. RSVP for dinner on the first night. If you could send that information to Chris as well. She's keeping track of all 3 of these things, just so they know how much food to make. Yourself, your camper is included, and then we pay for 2 other people, but if you're bringing more than 2 people with you when you drop your camper off, we ask that you donate $7 for the meal on that first night. Okay, here's our mission and philosophy. I'm going to attach this document too, so you'll be able to read it. You can read it longer, or I guess you could probably just pause it. But basically, we don't do any kind of therapy. Our whole program is just around the fact that we really want these kids to have a fun experience. We want them to be able to have the fun experience that their typical peers get to have. So we just provide a more structured and safe environment for that to happen. A lot of therapeutic things come out of our program. We do a lot of role modeling. A lot of kids make friends. And we encourage them. We're constantly working on social skills and pushing kids outside their comfort zones, but also letting them pull back when they want to. So that's basically our overall philosophy. Things to know before camp. Medications. All medications and supplements, even vitamins, need to be sent to camp in their original labeled bottles. And please don't send a full 3-month supply of your meds. If there's, maybe send 10 if they need 7, or just enough for camp and a few extra. That is helpful to us. And then the help forms, hopefully you have turned those in by August 1st, but if not, Katie will be emailing you frantically this week trying to get those in. And so we need those prior to camp. One of the reasons is we print out medication labels and we put them on envelopes so that the nurse can just stuff those envelopes. We know that the night of camp when you drop off, sometimes there are changes, and so we'll just cross out and rewrite on there. But, sorry, there we go. But it's really helpful for us to have that in advance. And also, if we don't have the medical consent form signed by the doctor, we aren't allowed to take the kids just for insurance purposes. We have to they have to sign that they're healthy enough to be able to attend camp. It's sort of like it's kind of like a sports physical kind of signature type thing that we need. So please get those in this week, but also bring your updated medical forms to camp check-in. So there's a page that's going to be attached to the attachment I'm sending. That's just a medication page if there are any changes, or just if you list it out. Sometimes what we find is things have changed a little, and so we'll have to go back and look at both sheets to see what it is, and it's helpful to have the most current one being the one you bring to camp. Okay, packing list highlights, cameras, if the kids want to bring cameras. We used to just do disposable cameras, but they're kind of expensive and hard to get developed, so any regular cameras are fine, or if your child has disposable, that's fine as well. Label as many things as you can. The cameras, will try to encourage the kids to take pictures of other people, and we will take lots of pictures of other people with the cameras. I know a lot of times the kids will just want to take pictures of nature, so you get a lot of pictures that don't really mean much to you. Everything that you can, label it if possible. Bring water bottles. They do a great job at Camp Tapawingo of having water stations all over the camp. So you don't need to bring a giant water bottle. A smaller one is usually better because the kids have to carry it. If they're going down to the pond or wherever they're going, they usually are taking their water bottles. So a smaller one is better. We'll have plenty of stations to fill it up, and we'll make sure that everyone stays hydrated. If you want to send a package, you can either drop it off at camp when you come, and we'll kind of set it aside, and you can write the date you want them to give it if you'd like, or you can mail it ahead of time, and the address is in the packet that I'm attaching to this document. But please do not send any food. We do not allow any food in the cabins at all, and it's tough if kids get snacks in the mail. So they will have lots of things to eat, and we'll go over that in a little bit. But if you send packages, don't send any food. Thank you. The camp staff will contact you about a week to 2 weeks before camp. So sometime this week, probably Josh will be sending out an email asking last-minute questions, if there's anything that you would like us to know about your camper, if things have changed since we talked to you last or since you applied, behavior-wise, you can just let us know those things this week. You will also have a chance at camp check-in to talk with their counselor. So the counselors that will be in the room with the kids will be there for you to chat with. Drop-off is at 4 o'clock, but we have parents stay till 5:30 when we're going to have a big barbecue at 5:30, and so it's a good time between 4 o'clock and 6:15 for you to really get to know the counselors and let them know anything that you think that they might need to know for the week. And it also gives the kids a time to kind of get acquainted before you just drop them. Some kids immediately, bye mom and dad, and they're totally fine. Other kids really need that hour and a half to kind of settle in before you go. One thing that we do is camper bunk signs. So it's just an 8.5 by 11, just a regular sheet of paper, but we ask every kid to bring a sign to hang on their bunk that has their name on it, and then some pictures of things they like or words they like. They can be creative. Some kids print them off on the computer. Some kids cut and paste things. But this is a really important thing, for one, for them to keep track of where their space is, but it kind of sparks some initial conversations with a lot of kids. If one kid has Pokemon on their bunk sign and another kid has Pokemon on their bunk sign, they immediately start talking about it, and they understand they have something in common. So it's kind of a good way to break the ice right away. So please remember to have them bring their bunk sign. There's a sample included in the packet I'm attaching as well. Okay, swim screening. So at camp, in order to go in the swimming pool without a life jacket, the camper has to pass a swim screening. Now this can be a little bit stressful because a lot of times kids think they're great swimmers, but they can't pass the screening. So what is required is that they can tread water, and that they also can swim from one side of the pool to the other side with their whole body flat on top of the surface, and they have to look like they're not struggling. So that's a little arbitrary, but sometimes it can be a little bit stressful, but they can take it as many times as they like. If they don't pass the swim test, they just have to wear a life jacket. So it's not that they can't go into the water, but please talk to your campers about this, because it can be very stressful. Taking the test, first of all, when everyone's there. We try to do it in small groups, but it can get stressful. And then also what happens if they don't pass. So yeah. Help them understand that we have to follow the camp rules about swimming. This is a Camp Tapawingo swimming test. It has nothing to do with us. They have a certain standard that they're required to do for their insurance, so we have to follow their rules. And life jackets are always available. Okay, picky eaters and special diets. So I'm attaching a menu with the packet I'm sending with this. Review the menu with your camper before camp. So any meals that your child will not eat, please send an alternative food choice. So anything that can be eaten cold or can be heated up, please, any meal. So for example, say your child hates pizza, and on the night where it's pizza, you would have some other thing that they like to eat written, Tuesday night dinner, and then the cook will just heat that up for them and have it ready at the same time. They don't have to wait. She'll just hand it to them. Because it's labeled, she'll know, and she'll just hand it to them. She's really, really good at making sure everybody eats. So if, they get up to the counter and they say, I thought I was going to like the pizza, but it doesn't look the same or it doesn't smell the same, she will pull from the food that you've brought, if you've brought in different foods, and she'll make sure that the campers get that food, or she'll try to problem solve the best she can with what she has available. But it goes very smoothly if we know in advance the kid isn't going to eat pizza and we have something prepared. What we find, though, is a lot of times the kids actually eat a lot more of the foods at camp than they do at home. I think they're starving from all the exercise, and also everyone else is eating it, and so they end up trying some things maybe that they wouldn't eat in other places. Not all kids, but some. So just be prepared for that. You can send snacks if you want to, or if you think they're not going to like some of the things that we have. They will all be kept in the kitchen, though. It won't be in the cabin, and so all they have to do is ask an adult, say they need a snack, and they'll take them down and get it at the kitchen. Let's see. No pop or candy, please. We don't allow it in the cabins, and we just don't allow it to have some kids to have it anywhere, because then other kids would want it as well. We do go to the camp store. Every camper will have the opportunity to go one time, and at the camp store they can purchase pop. They let them do one pop and one candy, and then there's t-shirts and some other trinkets and stuff that they have there. The camp store, I think we're talking about it later in this slideshow, but it is run by Camp Tapawingo. We will have a few of our items in there. We have Camp Otakota water bottles and some t-shirts, but other than that, it's mostly Camp Tapawingo items. So they have some religious type items. They are a Baptist camp that we rent from, and so there will be some things like that, but for the most part it's hats and t-shirts and stuff. So okay, picky eaters. If your child has a special diet, example gluten-free, their food needs to be labeled and brought to camp to be given to the kitchen staff on arrival. So please pack all snacks and meals that fit your child's dietary needs. She will heat things up and pull things out, but she won't have time to cook or prepare any foods for the kids. The gluten-free options that are available, it's listed here: pizza, chicken nuggets, waffles, also grilled cheese sandwiches, and French toast are the gluten-free options that she can do. So if you go through the menu, you can circle those things and just write gluten-free on the menu, and then you can talk to the cook about that when you arrive at camp. The easiest way to do it is to print out the menu and write right on it and hand it to her with your child's name, so that she has them all there together. If they require a complete special diet, which we have had that happen in the past, where pretty much just kind of wheel in a cooler with everything labeled, she'll just keep it in the fridge and pull it out as needed. There are there are foods at camp that are made in factories that also process peanuts. So I know we have some peanut allergies. A lot of our kids also bring food, so we will allow kids to bring their food and even their peanut butter sandwiches if that's what they like to eat, but we will have a separate table for any kids with peanut allergies. Okay, camp store, we already talked about this a little bit. They have popcorn. I didn't say that, I guess. The money sent for the store will be turned in on the first day. So when at check-in, you'll check in your money, and they'll make like a little envelope, like a little account for your camper, and then every time they spend something, they just subtract it, and then they give you the envelope back at the end. So an appropriate amount would be about $25 if you think they might buy a t-shirt or a water bottle. The candy and pop, it's only going to be a couple dollars. So if they're going to want to do any of those things, $25 or less would be plenty. Okay, how to get your camper ready for camp. So this is the whole reason for doing this meeting, is we really want you to prepare your camper. Practicing self-care, reminding them, showering tips, brushing teeth, getting dressed. Sunscreen is a big issue. I know a lot of kids don't do it completely by themselves, and we can help them, especially we can spray them down if we need to. But, you know, practice. Some kids do not like the smell of sunscreen, or they don't want it, but we require them to wear sunscreen. It gets really hot at Camp Tapawingo, and if you're in the sun, it is sunburn is a big health risk. So we do ask them to agree to wear sunscreen. Bug spray is a little more optional. Some years the bugs are worse than others, so I can't predict what it will be, and some areas of the camp are worse, but there are mosquitoes there. So a lot of the kids do the little off clips, which they don't have to spray it on themselves. It has like a little fan in there. They also have the little bracelets that you can wear, or anklets that have some sort of scent to them that are supposed to repel bugs. So think about what might fit your child best and go that way. Bathroom hygiene. Some kids in the past have had issue with using regular toilet paper. They use wipes, but make sure if your child does that they're flushable wipes. We've had an issue before where they weren't flushable wipes, and then we clogged up the toilet. So share the menu, the club descriptions, and the schedule with your camper. The club descriptions will be coming out Monday. We have a tentative club description listed in the document I'm sending with this. Talk to them about living with others in a new environment. The way the cabins are set up, for the boys, there are 2 cabins, and each cabin has 4 bedrooms. So we call the bedrooms a cabin as well. In that bedroom, where that would be their cabin, there will be 4 to 6 kids in there, plus 2 to 4 adults. So it's a small area, and then in the middle area between the bedrooms, there's kind of an open space with a couch and kind of a general meeting area. So it can be a little bit cramped. There's a lot of people, and we make sure that we really try to keep things down and keep things from being overstimulating, but it's something to talk with them about. I forgot to say, the girls have 2 small cabins. They're just basically 1-room cabins, and they have a bathroom in each. All the cabins have indoor bathrooms in the buildings, which is really nice. And they're all bunk beds, and all the campers will be sleeping on bottom bunks. In the girls' cabins, they just only have the 1 room with the bathroom, so it's a little bit different. Okay, please also talk to your camper about Camp Odakota is a no teasing zone. We will use this term if we hear any teasing happening. We are really, really tough on bullying and teasing, which usually is never a problem. I think a lot of the kids see it a lot, and they know what to look for, and they know what not to do. So we'll just make gentle reminders if we do see, sometimes playing around can end up being kind of teasing. So we will definitely be on top of this one. It's a safe and fun place for all campers, even if they may seem annoying to each other. Sometimes kids rub each other the wrong way, and we understand that, and we will problem solve the best we can to make sure that kids are with kids they like and that they have a really great time. There will be no threatening language or actions allowed. This means saying or acting like they will hurt themselves or others. Any camper who displays violent behavior will be sent home. So just making sure that all the kids are safe and happy, and that's all I need to say about that. Arriving at camp. Check-in begins at 4:00 p.m. on Monday, August 12th. I know one of the documents says Tuesday, but it's actually Monday, August 12th, 4:00 p.m. You'll arrive to camp, and you'll get settled in. You'll meet with us, deposit your store money. We will do a head lice check, so you might want to check at home, or at least prepare your kid that they're going to have that done at camp. If for some reason we found a camper that did have head lice, we would have you go and treat it before you brought them back. That would be tough to get rid of it once it got into the camp. So we'll do the head lice check. You will meet with the nurse and drop off your medications. Please make sure all your medications are in a Ziploc bag with your medical form and the camper's name on the outside of the bag. This is really important to help her organize. We take in a lot of meds, and we got to make sure that we get them all correctly identified, and she will put them in bags with their names if they aren't, but it's really helpful, and it helps the process go quickly if you can do that. Then we'll have the kids also make name tags at that time. While they're making name tags, there's a good chance for you to talk with their counselors, because this will be up in the cabins. So you can provide any additional information if you want to write something down or type it out ahead of time and hand it to them. They will be the ones that will be spending the most time with your campers. Josh and I and Katie will relay any information that you've given to us and make sure that they have that. But this is also a good time for that. And they will take notes as well if there are things that they want to make sure that they remember. Parents can help campers unpack and get settled into their cabins. And then at 5:30 we'll have dinner. So I already talked about that a little bit. It'll be a barbecue dinner, and it's on the menu. And then after dinner, it will be time to say goodbye to campers. So we will just say, okay, all campers back to your cabins. And at that time, it's the cue for you guys to say goodbye. And generally, they're pretty excited to get started. Just make sure you know your camper best, but make sure you're positive. And I know sometimes it's hard leaving them not knowing what's going to happen, if they're going to be successful, or or maybe they haven't been away from home before, which we get that a lot. But they're going to have a great time, and just be positive with them. Okay, phone policy. We do not allow any cell phones, so even if they play video games on their cell phones, please do not let them bring their cell phones for a variety of reasons. One, it's really, really bad reception, but it could be really bad if you got a phone call with two half words and you weren't sure what was wrong, and it could be very panicky. It's hard to get phone calls there, so we just don't allow it at all. So if they need to call, they usually, the counselors will bring them to me, and I will talk with them, and I'll try to hold them off till breakfast. I try to do any home calls right after breakfast. Usually by breakfast, the kids are remembering how much fun they had yesterday, and they're fine. It's usually during the afternoon or evening when they're exhausted that they might start missing home. So if they're really upset and they really are insistent, I will have them call. But I will offer, okay, we do phone calls at breakfast, and if that does it, then usually I'll wait till the next morning at breakfast, and I'll say, do you still want to call? And half the time they say yes, and the other half they say no. So that's kind of what we'll do with that. If you want to check on your camper, you can call, and one of us will talk to you about how things are going. So the phone at Camp Tapawingo goes to the kitchen, so try not to call right during meal times. If so, you may not get somebody. But what they will do is they'll track me down, probably me or Josh, and have me come and call you right back. If there's a problem, we will call you. If someone gets hurt, if somebody's having a lot of meltdowns, we'll call and say, hey, how do you deal with this? What can we do to help? If we've tried all of our normal strategies, or if someone's anxiety is so high and they want to go home, generally we'll try to distract them, but there has been an occasion where we've called. So if we don't call, you'll know everything is great, and you can check us on Facebook and see how things are going. We do not allow visitors during camp, just for safety reasons. So our pictures will be posted on Facebook daily. You need to friend us ahead of time, because sometimes we don't get to the Facebook part till at least the second day, and so in the past sometimes people have missed that window, and then it'll be a whole nother day before they actually get friended. So if you want to check out all of our pictures on Facebook during camp, just search ASDOregon at yahoo.com, and you'll be able to friend us and see all the pictures as we post them during the week. Okay, electronics. So age-appropriate games only. No rated M games, even if you feel they're appropriate for your camper. We don't want other campers looking over their shoulder, and if their parents don't allow that. So no M-rated games, please. Video games can be accessed only during specific times of the day. So please talk to your camper about this as well. You can see the sample schedule attached to this document. They have a 2-hour time in the afternoon where they have downtime in the cabins. Some kids choose to play board games or do crafts. Others choose to do video games during that time. And when they're not being used, they'll be kept in a locked box. The only other times that they will access their electronics are, before bed. If they're all ready for bed, then they can have it until lights out. And don't worry, there'll be lots of warnings, 15, 10, 5 minute, 1 minute. making sure that people have plenty of time to save their games before we take them, put them in the box. So that will happen a few times during the day. If they get ready quickly, that they would have access to that. But for the most part, it's the one time in the afternoon. We recommend that all systems and games have initials or some sort of code on them so that so if they get lost, they can figure out which one's theirs. So I know sometimes kids have put different colored dots or just a piece of tape or whatever it is, but something so they can identify which games are theirs. And there is no internet reception at camp, so please let them know if they're planning on FaceTiming or using their iPods for texting or anything else. There is no internet at camp. Okay, emergencies. Please make sure that we have an emergency contact for your child. If you are out of town and you're coming to stay, with friends or something, just make sure that we have the number where you're going to be. Even if it's not you, but somebody else who would be able to come get your child in the case of emergency, which we've never had, but just in case, we need to be able to get a hold of someone. The camp nurse will respond to any medical needs, and then the camp directors and other team members will attend to other challenges. Challenges will happen. We know that with this population of kids, there are things that they are picturing and expecting that may be a little bit different than what's in their mind. And so it's a learning experience, especially for the brand new campers. There are a lot of things that we do that they've probably never done before. So, we understand that, and sometimes we're going to have meltdowns. But for the most part, we're able to avoid a lot of that. We train our staff, so we have a full day. We come in the night before, so the night before and then that full day we train people on, what is autism, how does it look at camp, what are our strategies, proactive strategies to make sure kids aren't having meltdowns. But I think the thing that helps us the most is that we have so many adults. We have 2 kids to 1 adult, and during the day we have day volunteers coming. Those are mostly from organizations that support us, who allow their employees to come and spend the day with us. OHSU, United Healthcare, some of those folks come for the day and help. So we have almost a one-on-one ratio at that point during the day. Any camper, this isn't really related to that, but campers who threaten the safety of himself or others will be sent home. We already talked about that. Okay, because our goal is to have a successful week where we will be ready with a lot of visual schedules. All the schedules will be posted every day. There'll be lots of warnings, lots of kind of pre-talk about what to expect for the day. We use the 5-point scale. I know some kids have probably grown out of using the 5-point scale by this point in their lives, but it is a common language that almost all of our kids understand, and our adults understand as well. So we use it. We'll say, hey, are you at a 3? And sometimes you can see a meltdown coming from a mile away. Other times kids will hold it in and they won't be expressing that they're stressed out, but when you ask them, they might say, I'm a 4, and we'll say, you know what, let's go for a walk, or let's change activities, and we'll try to help them through that. So that is something that we will be using at camp, and it will be posted. We'll be very clear with our expectations and rules. We'll provide lots of breaks when needed. They're quiet areas. And basically, our staff, they are there to have fun and just to engage and interact with the kids. And so they end up having a lot of fun with the staff. So we know challenges will happen. All counselors will have training prior to camp. We talked about that. Many of our counselors also work with kids, so either specifically kids with autism, or we have a lot of teachers as well who work with kids regularly. We'll problem solve, and we'll let you know if a problem occurs that we can't solve. So we'll call you and ask what your strategies are. Our goal is to have a successful and a fun week. Going home on Friday the 16th, campers will be ready to leave on Friday at 10 o'clock a.m. Please pick up your camper promptly. It's difficult for the campers who are very last. We'll stay with them and we'll play with them and make sure they're having fun, but they start to get nervous and worried when it's 11:30 and their parents aren't there. So try to be prompt if you can. They will receive a list of names and email addresses and phone numbers that you signed a consent for the directory after camp. If you arrive early and you would like to pitch in, we have a lot of cleaning that has to happen on that last day. We have to vacuum and sweep and load up all of our belongings. So if you end up arriving early and you're willing to be put to work, just let us know. Okay, other information. If you are coming from out of town and you want a place to stay nearby the camp, let us know. We can direct you to that. It's really in the middle of nowhere, but there's a town about 20 minutes away, and I believe there are some camping spots, campgrounds kind of nearby as well. So we know that going to camp is difficult, that a lot of our kids have never gone to camp before, and this is a brand new experience for them. But just know that they are going to have a great time, and that they're going to be safe and cared about, and we'll make sure they eat, and we'll make sure they're comfortable, and we'll listen to their needs, and that we appreciate them. We have so much fun with the kids that it's just so fun to get them in their own environment and just talk to them and hear all the clever things they have to say, and they're going to have fun. So help them get excited about going to camp. And if you have any questions before camp, you can contact me. There's my phone number and my email. And like I said, Josh will be contacting you this week as well to make sure that you have everything you need. And I'm sending an entire packet for you to read as well, so you should have enough information. We have never met a camper who did not have fun at camp. That is true. And we will challenge campers to do activities that are new and sometimes uncomfortable, but we'll also give them the freedom to choose things that are comfortable. So we'll definitely pick our battles. We don't force anybody to do activities, but we will make them come with us. If we don't allow kids to go back and hang out in the cabins. They have to be engaged in something during the camp. But generally, it's not a problem. They find something fun that fits their interest, and they go for it. So we'll challenge them to make friends and interact with other campers, and we'll watch as they become comfortable with the campers, counselors, and systems we have set up. We will get to see them have fun. So we take lots of pictures so you can see too. So just watch Facebook. There'll be tons of fun pictures going up. Oops. Okay, so I guess that's the end of my slideshow. So please let me know if you have any the questions from the parent meeting. Packing list. Are life jackets provided? Yes, they are provided. If your child doesn't like to use public life jackets, then you can send your own. Food. If your child wants a sandwich every day, do you need to make it in advance? No, the cook can put together a peanut butter sandwich. As long as you just send the peanut butter they like and the bread they like, she'll slap it together. If you have more information that you want us to know, you can tell the counselors. Let's see. Are girls allowed in the boys' cabins? They do not sleep in the boys' cabins, but they are allowed to visit during siesta, so a lot of times they'll play video games together during that time. When are electronics allowed? I covered that in the schedule. Are Kindles okay? Yes, Kindles are fine. iPads are fine. Anything but a phone, really. How far is the pond from camp? It's about a half-mile, I think, so it's a little bit of a walk. And I didn't talk about the pond. The pond actually has a blob, which is like this big rubber pillow that sits on the water, and you jump off a platform and crawl out to the front, and the next person jump, and it launches you into the pond. So that's always very popular. There's also fishing and canoeing down at the pond, and we'll have that open at least once every day. They do not need to bring their own fishing gear. We have lots of fishing gear, but if they have something special, they can bring it. One of the questions was, is there archery? There's no archery at this session. They have at the other facility, but not this one. And then, let's see, boys and girls, yes, we said that. Oh, I guess on one place in the camper application it says the 13th, so make sure you know that camp starts Monday the 12th, August 12th. And then I think that was it. So if you have any other questions, please let me know, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks so much.